Local entrepreneurs run a livestock farm near Taltal village, where cattle, sheep, and goats are bred mainly for sale purposes. Some businessmen have set up halls to be rented out for different events. Restaurants, hairdressing salons, various kinds of shops, and greengroceries are densely lined along the narrow village streets where life is filled with lively trade. It seems that pyrotechnic products are the best-selling commodities these days. No wonder. The new year is coming up and there will be plenty of firework displays on the streets during the holidays. It's a New Year party in one of Tel Tamar's clubs where the local youth has gathered. It's encouraging to see these beautiful and promising young people as the pledge of the future of the nation. Assyrian music and songs are being performed by a local band. Everyone here knows how to dance the Assyrian national dances in a lively manner. Work will soon begin anew in the fields, and the people of Khabur will return to their routine village life. Somewhere construction is underway. Elsewhere, someone is getting married, while another is preparing to leave the village for good. Somewhere, a life is ended on this earth, while in another corner, a new life is born. That's how life goes on. That's how these people live. For those leaving their villages in Khabur to go abroad, life is not simple. Homesickness takes a heavy toll on them. Some, unable to cope with its consequences, return to their native home in Khabur.
I have been living in Germany for the last 20 years. Then I decided to come back to Syria, my country, where I used to live in Tel Tamer. My wife and kids are still in Germany. I decided to come back because I realized that it is better to work for one's country than to work for a land where you are a stranger. Here, you can find employment and you can work for your living better than you would in a foreign land. In Germany, it is expensive to live, but here you can live with a less of a financial burden. Here you are among your own people. You can live with them, walk with them, and talk with them. But in Germany, you are a stranger. You don't know the language, you don't know the people, and you cannot live with them as you do with your own people. I invite all compatriots to go back to their homeland where they have been raised and where it is their ancestral home, and where you will always remain Assyrians, you and your generations to come.
Every first Wednesday in January, the Tel Machas villagers begin preparing murtucha at 6 a.m. Murtucha is a blend of oil, flour, and salt, baked on the hearth. It is given to every resident of the village, but the first share, according to the tradition, goes to Khabur's barren women. Three pieces of murtucha have been already put aside. According to tradition, when tasting murtucha with faith, the barren woman will be able to bear children. As we were told by the villagers, this tradition was primarily popular among the Jilu Assyrians, but it has already been many years that the people of Tel Mahas, originally of Hakkari's Gawar district, follow it. At one time, Sharad Sliva, or Feast of the Holy Cross, was largely celebrated by the villagers of Marzaya from Hakkari's Jilu region. Such festivals were accompanied by traditional music and dances and gathered many people from the nearby Ashirats. Marzaya, one of the most revered saints of the Assyrian Church of the East, passed away on the first Wednesday of January in 1431 AD. Murtucha is prepared every year on this day.
ملكد ملكي أورغ لشنا ودهولي عشنا لا ونزا يا مارد خاطب نسخاني نهوي إذا بريخ عليكن وكريستياني وثهو نرخيمي عيني ملكي أبدياني.
A service on the occasion of Murtucha is celebrated at the church in Tel Mahas. Marzaya's hagiography reveals that the saint lived and preached in the Jilu region together with his disciple. A homonymous church stands in Jilu where Marzaya's relics repose. The large village of Tel Hormuz on the isolated west bank of the Khabur is the stronghold of the ancient Church of the East, which is based on the old calendar. Seated in Baghdad, Maradai is the patriarch of this church. It's January 7 today. Sticking to the old calendar, villagers of Tel Hormuz celebrate Christmas on this day. It's a Christmas liturgy. The church of Rabban Pithian is crowded with believers from Tel Hormuz and adjacent villages. The settlement is made up of some 150 Assyrian families today. All of them are descendants of Assyrians from the Tahuma Ashirat. The people here are fortunate to have land plots with a sufficient supply of water. Vineyards, orchards, and agricultural crops planted by Assyrians still remain in this area. Tel Hormuz winemakers are famed in the region. Over the past years, the Habur River grew shallow, causing massive damage to the villages being irrigated by it. Many fields, once fertile and flourishing, are waterless now. Only grain can be grown there. Many Assyrian villages gradually become deserted as the people move either to the cities or foreign countries. Arabs who settle down in this region cultivate the Assyrian-owned land plots. There are only some 3 to 4 Assyrian houses in the settlement of El Makhada. This is the village of Tel Goran. Only 15 Assyrian houses remain here. As we were told by these children, the village school offers a 7-year education. Unfortunately, The graduates cannot afford to continue studying at other schools. Children run across the village and play games. Girls, having finished a 7-year education, have to stay at home and do housework. Such a lot is common for every girl of this region. Few of them succeed in studying in Aleppo or Damascus. Many of them get married and start a new family life. Many Assyrian men choose Habur girls as wives. A considerable number of Habur Assyrians have relatives in the United States, Sweden, and Australia. All the villages have churches, and each year sees another of the original mud brick structures replaced by sturdier cinder block ones. A new church is under construction in the village of Tel Tavil, or Bene Rumta, as it's called here. It's the outermost settlement of the Assyrian villages along the Habur's west bank. This magnificent temple of Mat Mariam in Tel Nazri was built a few years ago. Since not every settlement has a priest, Kasha Givargis David serves in Tel Nazri, as well as the neighboring villages. History records a number of cases when Muslims have revered Christian saints and holy sites. This Arab man, leaving his shoes at the entrance to the shrine, has modestly taken a seat at the end of the hall, venerably following the evening service. At school, classes on the mother tongue and sacred writing are carried out by a clergyman. The village church committee of Tel Nazri is one of the most active and organized in the Habur. Many churches bear the names of the Hakkari traditional shrines. Tel Hafian has Mar Shalita. Mar Shalita was the saint of the patriarchal church in the Hakkari village of Kochanis, where the villagers of Tel Hafian originally came from. Hard life and unemployment make large numbers of Assyrians move to the neighboring cities of El-Hasaka and Kamishli, where many of them take up permanent residence. New Nisibin. This is how the Assyrians call the Syrian city of Kamishli, situated near the Syrian-Turkish border. After World War I and the genocide of the Armenian and Assyrian people in the Ottoman Turkey, a number of Armenians and Syriac Orthodox people from the Turabdin region, the cities of Mardin, Diyarbakir, and Urfa, found shelter in the Kamishli region. Present-day Qamishli is one of the large and developed cities in Syria, even boasting an international airport. This is the Christian quarter of Qamishli with narrow, meandering streets, high buildings and imposing shrines. The largest communities are the Syriac Orthodox and Armenian Gregorian. The city has also communities of Chaldean Uniates, Catholic Syrian, Assyrian Church of the East, Catholic Armenian and Protestant churches. The Assyrian Church of the East community totals an estimated 150 families, of which 20 follow the old calendar of Maradai Church. They live in this part of the city. At one time, predominantly Assyrians studied at this school. Now it has many Kurdish students. Along with the state curriculum, Assyrians study their native language as well. During the summer holidays, the churches carry out classes on Assyrian and sacred writing. The Assyrian Church of the East, named in honor of Mara Prem, offers sport classes and music training for the young people in Qamishli. There are some 500 Syriac Orthodox families and 4 Orthodox churches in Qamishli. The city has a school with a state curriculum and classes on Syriac language. The folklore school with Urhai, dancing lessons, is in operation in Qamishli. The school has different age groups. These are the Urhai students demonstrating Assyrian folkloric dances. They took the first place award in the dance competition at the festival held in Damascus in 2005. Assyrian Democratic Organization Mtakasta, one of the Assyrian political parties, launched its mission in Qamishli in 1957. The conception of political movements with such patriotic flair was based on the emergence of a national ideology inspired by prominent Assyrian leaders such as Naum Faik, Freydun Aturaya, and Ashur Joseph. Mtakasta, founders made up of representatives from the Syriac Orthodox and the Church of the East communities, had an ideology based on creating a unified Assyrian nation irrespective of denominational affiliation. The organization aims at serving the nation dutifully. The Mtakasta members and supporters around the world launch business programs and make investments to boost the small and mid-sized businesses in Qamishli. Those investments are intended to benefit the Assyrian people. They purchase commercial properties and residential buildings. The city has 4 hospitals today, all established with Assyrian funds. This cannery elaborates and exports a variety of fruits and vegetables. Transport companies such as Isla and El Rafadiyeh organize bus trips from Qamishli to Damascus, Aleppo, and other large Syrian cities. Near Qamishli, there are villages where followers of the Syriac Orthodox Church reside. These settlements were established by the Syriac Orthodox people from several areas of the Tur Abdin region. shortly after the 1915 genocide. Today, many of those villages become deserted as the local residents move to Qamishli or to foreign countries. Only 12 houses of Syriac Orthodox followers remain in Dimhiya village. The local population has gathered for the morning service celebration at the 5th century church named in honor of Mar Akho, one of the most revered saints of the Syriac Orthodox Church. Despite a decrease in parishioners, the priest faithfully continues his service before God and the flock. Most members of both the Assyrian Church of the East and the Uniate Catholic Chaldean Church in Syria are still centered in north and northeast regions of the country. Tel Arbosh is the sole village of the Uniate Catholic Chaldeans. It contains St. George's Chaldean Catholic Convent, which currently has 3 nuns in residence. The kindergarten run by the congregation is attended by children from the Khabur settlements. They stay here till noon, playing, drawing, and learning to recite and pray. After their day is done, they are taken home.